Hello everyone, I am Dr. Jyoti Mandala. Welcome you all to the video lectures on Python programming. We are in our lecture number 11. In this lecture, let us see about functions in Python. So we all know what actually a function is. Function is nothing but a set of statements which performs a particular task. So a function can be defined as a group of statements which perform a particular task. Now when this task will be performed, when these statements will be executed, these statements will be executed only when the function is called, right? So function will be having its own statements and these statements will be executed when that function will be called. Now what is the use of this function? The use of this function is, we can mainly highlight three uses. The first usage is reusability. Reusability means as we are grouping these statements as one block, and if you want to execute those statements once again, you can simply execute those statements by calling that with the name. Reusability, instead of repeating the same statements, we can reuse the statements. Next one is modularity. Modularity is nothing but whenever a complex problem is given to you, the complex problem can be split into multiple functions. So that is called as modularity. Now the third advantage is maintenance. What is maintenance means? Whenever we are dividing our complex problem into functions, if any problem occurs, changes can be easily identified and the changes can be easily done if required. That is called as maintenance. Maintenance is very easy if you are having if your problem is divided into functions, right? So reusability, modularity, and maintenance. Now how a function can be created? To define a function, to create a function, we need to use a def keyword. So how we can create a function? So this is the simple syntax. We need to start with the def keyword and then we need to write the function name, whatever function you want, and then parameter list, and we, by maintaining the indentation, all the statements we need to write. Now after defining your function, you simply call this function by using this function name and you need to pass the arguments. Remember here, the parameters which you are writing, the variables which you are writing inside the function name are called as parameters, and the variables which you are passing at the time of function call is called as are referred as arguments. Got all of you? Normally functions can be user defined functions and predefined functions. We have already used some predefined functions like int function and print function. So int function is used to accept the input and print function is used to display the output. Those functions are called as predefined functions, and here we are talking about user defined functions. If you want to define your own functions, then we need to follow this syntax. Got it all of you? Now let us see an example for this one. If you see this example here, I am defining a function called average where I am accepting two parameters, and these two I am calculating. I am simply displaying the value, and here I am calling this, using this function, and I am passing two values. Let us check this one with an let us write this program and we'll check this out. So what is our program? Our program is, we want to find out the average. So we need to start with the def keyword. So my program, I want to write it average, avg, and I am passing two parameters a and b, and this is my function definition. Now I am printing the value where I want to display the average avg, and I'm going to find out the average of these two variables a plus b by 2. That's it. So function definition is done. Now I want to call this function avg of, I need to pass these two values. That's it. So we have defined our function, we have called our function. Let us execute this function through the command prompt. So let us move to the command prompt and we need to move to the path where our file is saved. My file is saved at D drive Python and my file name is fun1.py. So how to execute our program? This we already learned. We need to use a command called Python and we need to write our file name fun1.py. Now if you execute this program, we are expecting an output of average of 10 and 30. I am getting an output where it is showing plus symbol is not there. We need to use comma here. Control S. Let us move here. Let me execute this one more time. And we are getting our output 20. So this is how a simple example can be run. Okay, so we are passing two variables and we are getting the output. Now we have a keyword arguments also. What do you mean by keyword argument is, let us learn this one with this example. Arguments is nothing but we can assign here the same keywords what we are giving here. Here A equal to 30, 10 and B equal to 30 I am assigning. Are you understanding? That means A value will be 10 and B value 30 will be sent, and we can save this program and we can run. We'll get the same output. We'll get the same output. But what is this keyword is, we can also change the order here. We can write B equal to 30 and we can write A equal to 10 also. Even though you change this order, you will get your output here. I just want to show you even the use of these keyword arguments. Keyword arguments is nothing but we are assigning names here, B value. See here, even though you are changing the values, the value of B will be copied to B, A will be copied to A. This is called as keyword arguments. I think you are understanding. Okay. Next one is default arguments. Default arguments is nothing but to a function, it is not required to pass a value. So let us consider we can assign A value to 10 and B value to 20. Okay. Now if you are passing 20 comma 40, let us consider, then 20 comma 40 will be taken, and average of, you are not passing anything. Let us consider this example. I am talking about default arguments. So let us run this program. So if I am passing 20, 40, what is our output? Let us check first. What will be our output? Let us check first. So we are expecting average of 20, 40. What is average of 20, 40 will be copied here. 20, A value will be 20, B value will be 40. 20, 40 average will be 30. Now if you check here, I am not passing any arguments. Then the values here, it is called as default arguments will be taken. Here A value will be 10 and B value will be 20, and that will be considered as your values for your parameters. This is called as default arguments. Right? Next one is, to a function we can pass a list also. To a function we can pass a list also. So how to pass the list? Let us consider to a function. I just want thing. I want to define a function, and to this I am passing a parameter called a list. Now in this list, for this I want to print the values in the list. This is L is my list. Okay, I am just print I. I am writing print I. As simple as that. Now what I'm doing, I'm calling this one in and I am passing the arguments as a list. Observe here what I'm doing. I am passing my arguments as a list. Hope you are all getting. Okay. Now what I can do, just run this program. If you check here, I am passing these arguments, function argument as the list, and all the L value will be now list and all the list values will be displayed. If you check here, all the list values are displayed. Right? Now, function, to the function, we can have a return statement also. Instead of printing the value there, we can have a return statement also. Let me define a function. Let us consider cal is one function where a, b values I am taking. Now I am simply writing x equal to a plus b, and then I am writing print x. Okay. Now I am calling this function where I am passing values 10 and 5. Got it? Now if I run this program, now we may be expecting an output called 10 and 5 will be copied here and 10 plus 5 will be added, and we are getting 15 value. Now instead of writing this one, we can write return return x. Now whenever you are returning any value, we need to save that one in some variable. Let us consider a result is our variable. Then we need to print r. Okay, let us now run this program again. Now if you check this output, we'll be getting the same output, return statement. As we are using a return statement, we need to save that one in some variable. Okay, now in Python we have a special feature like we can return multiple values also. How that is possible, we'll see with one example. Let me perform y equal to a minus b and z equal to a star b. Okay, now I can return x comma y comma z. Observe here, all these values will be returned as a tuple, which they can't be changed. That means are a tuple of values. Let us run this program and check. Okay, now if you check, I x, y, z values, and all these values will be copied into R as a tuple, and I am trying to display the R value. If you observe here, I am getting the tuple values: addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Got it? Okay. Next one is Python program. In Python programming, we have a concept called local variables and global variables. Local variables and global variables, let us see with one example. Okay, let us take a simple example. Here I am taking which is a global variable and y, which is a local to this function only. That means this x can be accessed in this function and out of this function, but y should be accessed in this function only. Let us run this program and check what will be our output. Okay, so let me clear this screen first. So if we run this program, we may be 20, print y will be 30, and then we are getting 20 also. Let us consider if you are trying to access the value of y here, we may get an output of error. Why? Because y value is a local variable which can't be accessed inside this one. That is what we are getting. Y is not defined. Got all of you? But suppose if you want to let us consider I am giving a value of x here. Now which value I will get here? Suppose I am giving x here. Both are x. In such a case, what will be our output? What will be our output? Let us check. We are getting, it is accepting the value of 30. But if you want to accept this one, we can get that value by using a function called globals. So we can write globals function, and within the brackets we need to specify the variable whatever we want to accept. Okay, let us check the output. So if you see, we are getting the 20 output. See here, we got 30, but here we are getting 25 because we have used the globals function. Right? So this is local variables and globals function, and we can assign a function to a variable also. Right? How that can be done, I'll show you with simple example. Now if you see this example, in this example I have taken a function fun and the simple return statement is there. Now this fun is assigned to a variable called z, and simply by calling this z, this function will be called. So to check this output, let us run this program. Now if you see hello, you will get an output called hello. That's it. Right? So I think this is clear to all of you. Now function within a function. In a function, if you see this display function, we have another function also, and we can simply have one function within another function. Now whenever I am calling this display function with a parameter, let us consider Jyoti, then the name will be Jyoti here and display Jyoti, and in that I am calling result equal to message. Now I am calling message function which is within this function message. Now this will be replaced by hi plus name is Jyoti, and the result will be written will be copied here, and I will get an output like hi Jyoti. So hi Jyoti. Got it all of you? Function as parameter to another function also can be done. Now if you see, for this function I am passing parameter a, display name is another function which is the parameter of another. We have two function names here. To one function I am passing another function as a parameter. If you run this program, you will get an output of hi Jyoti. We have another concept called recursive function. A function calling itself is called recursive function. Now if you see here, if you want to find out the factorial of a number, you can find out the factorial of a number by following the recursion. So if you see here, you need to first give in the function the end statement, and then you can find out the factorial. Okay, with this we can come to a conclusion of our 11th lecture. Thank you.